Okay, this meeting is being recorded. This is this meeting for August 24th. Okay, the beginning of the meeting, this needs to be read as this is a public meeting. This is the call to order. This will call our State Tribal Economic Development Commission meeting for August 24th, 2020 to order. The Montana Department of Commerce records meetings electronically and will serve as an official meeting minutes. Please help the public by identifying yourself when you speak. Explain any acronyms that may be used in the discussion. If you're referring to a document, state the document name. As a final reminder, the recording will not be edited, cut, or altered in any manner. Did everyone hear that okay?
Hi, this is Cheryl. I heard it okay. It drags a little bit, but I understood what you said.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Cheryl. All right, so according to our agenda, I believe that the first thing that we do is a roll call.
Yep.
Okay,
Go ahead and
okay.
we have the list of departments. We'll
Let's-
call the meeting to the quarter first.
Okay.
Michelle did read the statement regarding the video taking. Then we'll do roll call with the list and then we'll have this do opening prayer.
Okay. So I did just read the statement. Are we okay with that? All right. And so then we'll do roll call. Okay. Cheryl Rivas from Blackfeet,
Here,
Jennifer Finley from the Confederated Salish and Kootenai. Here. Richard Sangre from Chippewa Creek.
Here.
Sean Backbone from the Crow. Yolanda Goodvoice, alternate from Crow. Not here. Fort Belknap, Delana Cuts the Rope.
Here.
Chair Gerald Gray from Little Show.
Here.
Bryce Kirk from Fort Peck. Shannon Martell, alternate from Fort Peck. Sure. Leif Haugen, alternate from Northern Cheyenne. Not here. So do we have a quorum? Not yet. We have to keep going. Yes, okay. So we have the commission members. So from the Office of the Governor, Director of Indian Affairs, Misty Cool, not in attendance. Montana Department of Commerce Director Osterman is not in attendance. However, we have
No,
Leanne Taylor.
he is, Leanne Taylor for Director Osterman. Here.
Leanne Taylor with the Department of Commerce as proxy for Director Osterman.
Correct. You're freezing up, so
Okay, thank you. That was, I know, very. Okay.
Yep.
And we have one. Okay.
Now go ahead. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the agenda. I guess we had some welcome introductions. If you wanna handle that.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you everybody again for coming today and for your patience as the Office of Indian Country Economic Development has gone through a lot of changes the last few months. I'm new. Our most senior member of our team is Luke Robinson, who is here, our entrepreneurial specialist and business development specialist in our division. We have Jason Small, who is the interim program manager for the Office of Indian Country Economic Development. So we've got Jason. And then my name is Rochelle Brown. I am the Travel Tourism Officer for the Department of Commerce. The position that is oversees the structure and organization for this STED commission is a vacant position. And so you'll see what it's like when someone pitch hits myself trying to keep this going. It's comical. So thank you for being patient with me as I try to help keep this going. Let's see. So I think what we were hoping to do from after the introductions was to see if there were any public comment. So this would be a public comment period. Okay.
Yeah. Do we have any? Going on?
Yeah, so far, don't believe that we've got any anyone other than Leanne and Cheryl joining us remotely.
All right, so we'll move on to approval of the 5/18 minutes. I think they're in the packet.
No, so there were no minutes recorded from from the meeting, that last meeting in Rocky Boy. So I tried to find where they were. I tried to find the recording of the meeting. There was no record. I did put a call out to the commission members and to see if anyone may have had any idea of where else I could maybe look to secure those.
Was you able to get a hold of Billy at all? Maybe she.
No, I did not contact Bill directly. No, I don't have a contact for her.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, she's there running the meetings.
Yeah.
Ask her, yeah.
Yeah, typically those would be in our shared drive. There's a minutes folder, but there were no minutes there. And then so they're typically recorded and recorded. So
Well, we did have a meeting.
yes,
We were there. So.
yes, and
Yeah.
yes, and we know that you did. So do we want to table this item until the next meeting to have that done? Okay,
Well, we can look into that and probably find out. Got it.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to some reports. I guess, Jason, if you don't mind.
All right, well, I put together a little bit of a slideshow, but I'm not going to, we'll end up disconnecting our video and everything else if we do that.
No, I think we can access it if it's on the shared drive. Do you want to still try it? Because I can share this.
Yeah, you can give it a whirl.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can do a,
I don't know if it's on the screen.
yeah, so give us a moment to get that queued up and you're welcome to, okay, go. Oh. All right, so we'll go to the to the shared drive.
Yeah, then go into desktop function. It's not another shared drive, is it? Serious, so.
That's okay. You can open it up in your thing and then save, would you mind helping them save it again into the,
Oh, yeah.
into the OI's admin?
Go in there. Oh, wait, go into documents on the shared drive.
No, I think it's still gonna be on your desktop.
Yes, go.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll be able to copy it into the share.
Yeah, where you want to see
Just put it into OI's to admin, just,
more options.
and you don't have to bury it into a file. You can
okay,
just,
sorry.
you can just put it either right in the OI's and then it'll show up right on that main page.
Yeah, yeah. Twice that, I mean. Story. Based in PowerPoint.
And you guys put it in the admin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, should just-
Great. Oh, yep. That is bad docs. Let's see. Yeah. we should try that.
No, it's under, not that one. Yeah, go down. Nope. This just stays in PowerPoint. It's probably at the very bottom.
There it is. All right, thanks.
Technology's wonderful.
When you have the right operator.
Yeah, I'm just getting into it here where it's relatively competent.
Hmm. We can't be in the same file at the same time.
I'm all.
Okay. All right, great. Just-
Icon on the bottom. One over. Spells. Oh,
It's just because it's got, oh, whoa, sorry. Oh, there it is. Okay.
got a little like that. All right, so. With this been put together, it's just a brief overview of what we're doing here. We have our resources for business. We have the Indian Equity Fund grant. Those are out open right now and due back to 31st. The Native American Business Advisor Network, the NABA, Luke's going over this information too. Those are also out right now. The NACS program, I was looking for the overall funding of that program at the moment, but I didn't receive word back. That's still available and a viable option, so there hasn't been a ton of utilization on that one that I've been able to find, but that's a good program to help, kind of basically bridge a little gap in between getting funded and not funded. And then we have the Native American Made in Montana program, which helps the marketing and whatnot. So the Stud Commission, if you look over in the right-hand column, resources for tribal governments. This is an outlet for tribal government to go through or ask questions or whatnot for our decision-making board here. And then some of the resources for tribes, businesses, and Montana Tribal Tourism. You want to hit the next one there?
Sure.
Okay, so the next screen up should be the NABAs that are currently operating right now. We have NACDC, Blackfeet, Fort Belknap, Pro, Little Shell, Fort Peck, S&K, Northern Cheyenne there with People's Partner and Bear Paw Development. So those are resources available for tribal members and also for tribes themselves. Next one. that is a little diagram of the Native American Collateral Support Program. It's kind of a complex little thing. But it shows the outlay of it and, how it actually kind of works. So you got the business that goes to a lender, the lender ends up making a loan back to the business, but the lender checks with the state. They do the underwriting, program development, whatnot. And then at the end of the day, basically your business is getting support from the Native American Collateral Support Program, which kind of is like a small gap payment type situation, which enables them to get a larger loan through a bank.
How many funds are there?
That's, I was trying to get the update and I never got it back.
We talked about this a while back. Yeah. I did.
I believe it's
Plus
doing-
240, but I don't.
500,000.
Oh,
What's the minimum lending authority for the 100 or?
yeah, it's $100,000 cap on it.
Yeah.
Per- So anyway, in this is 500. I don't think that's absolutely correct right now, though. I think it changed up.
Yeah, we're still waiting for word back from the lady getting the final figure for us, but. That's taken a while.
That has changed a little bit. But still, it's an option. I forgot about this template.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can re-update that when I get the current amount that we have to utilize it. All right, next.
Okay, thank you for noticing that. Okay, Leanne thinks it's about 420,000 right now.
Okay. So just shy of the 500,000. Like I said, if I get a finite number on that for sure, I'll get it out there. And you need it all in that? Yeah, it's being rotated, revolved, small projects and stuff, so Maria had this out there. Yeah, there was one at Crow Agency I found, used
Yeah,
it,
14.
there's a couple of them, but it's not getting hammered on, it's not one of those things that's getting used a whole bunch. Okay, that's some inquiries from bankers and stuff, so, no, usual. All right, you wanna go to the next one?
Sure. We'll try it again. All right. Yeah, for some reason it's not going to. It's all right. Figure out what's happening here. Maybe it's frozen. Something's happening with it. Just one moment. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hope it didn't jump ahead too many. Okay,
No, I think that's probably the right one.
okay.
All right, so Office of Indian Country Economic Development Program Opportunities and Challenges. So first one we have, there's the Tribal Member Small Business, so Indian Equity Fund. Tribal Tourism Development Grants for Government, TTG, TTEG. We led a round of the TTEG money out a month and a half ago. A lot of projects should be moving right now because of that. The STAD updates, so data entry of tribal government contracts and the systems, that's been done. We're caught up on that. One of the things I wanted to talk about today, I should have moved it, but was the grant writing to leverage federal dollars. That is part of the STED position in statute, so I mean, that's up and open for discussion. We get that filled. That'll be something we'll have to start looking at with tribe. Okay, new tribal SSBCI opportunity and development, and there was one additional, is that still correct? When there was there an extra SSBCI that was put in? No.
Fair call. Oh, yeah. Good, Leanne.
So, yeah, just so everyone's aware, the state's SSBCI application was approved a couple of weeks ago. There will be training on how those dollars can be utilized. We received the first tranche of funds of about 19 million. The tribal SSBCI, which the federal government had a, a separate program for the tribes. Those applications are due September 11th, I believe. Actually, maybe it's September 1st. Sorry, I just kind of spaced that out. Obviously, if there are some funding projects, any of the tribal businesses are welcome to, visit a lender. The state SSBCI program is what's called a loan participation program. So it's 50% private funding, so basically a lender of some sort, and then 50% non-private. So like say Bear Paw, if somebody went to Bear Paw, had a project, they would participate. There would basically be a blended rate. So the interest rate is pretty low with this program. It's a little bit detailed. We will be doing training. I think Carolyn's going to try to get training done next week. Carolyn Jones is our loan program manager. And so if you guys want, we can make sure to get emails out to everybody if anybody wants some training on how it works.
I think so. I'm not sure we got a new officer, so it's probably. And then the second one, Jason, that one's open until the 15th too, right?
You mean the Indian Equity Fund?
No.
Oh, okay, so
Oh,
the travel tourism grant's not open yet. My cycle, so what it is tourism grant. So we've got an Office of Tourism General for the whole state.
Mhm.
And then our program as the Tribal Tourism Grant Program, the next cycle for fiscal year 23 opens October 1.
So the one you sent at least for.
That one is for the state
Okay.
general tourism, but tribal
I'm mixing them up,
entities,
sorry.
that's okay. Tribal governments are eligible for that one too. And the budget's 117,000 this year. Theirs is $1 million. And there's no cap on what you put in. It expires September 15th. I've been trying to blast that out to people, but if anyone has missed it or hasn't gotten it, let me know and I will again put it out again. We still have a couple of weeks and they've got some real good eligible criteria. So it is a matching program. I believe it's a 50-50.
That was 2 for.
Yes, so yeah,
State to type 1.
that's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can go. On that in a minute, too. Sure.
Good. Okay.
Okay, so, right now we're good.
Do we get a weigh in on that?
Yeah. The person to ask is Leanne.
She gets the final say and everything.
I'm
So
sorry, I
when
couldn't
we
hear what
got
the
up to
chairman
the-
said.
Yes, so the chairman was asking, what is the status with the positions in our office at Office of Indian Country, Jason being the interim right now, and then the Billy position still being open.
Okay, it kind of got wonky there at the end, so I think that you're just asking what are the positions. So Jason's position, I'll let him speak to that, and Billy's position is open. We'll be reposting it next week, had to update that a little bit, just because we hadn't gotten a lot of applicants, so think of anybody that's good. We're adding just a little bit more of a media piece to that and then the grant writing, and hopefully we'll get some more applicants. We have not had a single one. Well, we did have one, but that person wasn't qualified. So I'm not even sure if they were out of high school. looks like you guys might be frozen, so I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We can hear you. Can you hear us okay? We hear you. So,
Yes.
but she's saying it's frozen there. It's funny, we can hear her fine, but she's right. Frozen. Um, Here, it might force me to have to make sure. Everyone can be. Hey there, Cheryl. Our connectivity just continues to crash. So we are calling you on my cell phone to get you looped back in, at least via phone.
Rochelle, are you talking to me? This is Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl, I'm not sure if your cell phone's nearby or your phone number's nearby, but we're trying to call you.
Oh, so should I be jumping off of the
Nope.
Zoom meeting? Okay.
No, go ahead and stay on the Zoom, but if you don't mind, also being connected by phone, this way
Okay.
with our internet going down, we can stay connected on the phone.
Alrighty.
Yeah, it keeps the internet connection's unstable, so. This is so fun. Okay. All right, well, we're still on here for now, so I guess we'll just try this again. Stay on the meeting, but where we left off was just a discussion about the open positions in our department, the one position being the STED position, and that is getting a little bit of retooling and will be posted again. Jason Small is our interim program manager. And Jason, did you want to add anything else about, what your forecast is for the position and what you think might happen the legislative session?
I'll wait to update anything for legislature.
But in terms of you being in the position,
Oh, well, we've had discussions on.
and so then January. All right, well, we'll see if we can possibly get back to sharing our presentation, unless you have more slides, right?
Yeah, there's.
Okay, great. Great.
Some discussion left on the one right now.
Okay, good. Let's get back to that.
So we were down to the spot on the UCC there. I didn't even know it was there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so there's more of them are. Ours is 20 pounds. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Never looked, checked them, let's just see if there's any activity. Yeah, we were digging through info. Yeah, no, it's current not big, so. Yep.
Port Belmont does have a use, but it's not published publicly, and there are some revisions that we did about 3 years ago. So, but no one asked me for that information, but I'd be happy to share with you the condition that we have it in.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, it'd be good to update. One thing I found, I've been digging through a lot of the old files and everything else that we have around, and I've been trying to update some stuff, because of course, one of the problems the state has is they never have the right contact info, they never know what programs were. And everything just, it gets difficult. I spent 2/3 of the day just trying to get the right contact information for payroll offices even. So it's crazy. Anyway, updated info is always good. Next, we talked about feed of trust land issues. I guess that's probably not necessarily a point of topic for today. I mean, everybody has some issues with it, and there was some legislation passed last year that had a significant impact. That was primarily passed because of Lake County and CSKP. Well, obviously it affects everybody. So there's things there that we got to work through still. But that's that's a different conversation. I don't think it's primarily for this commission today. Sorry. Right. it's,
Do you mind restating that just just for those who couldn't hear it?
So talk about the land buyback program, work on that is back in there too.
Good,
Last week.
okay,
mhm.
good.
So things will change up again. One of the other things we didn't have on the list was the tribal planning grants. Might as well, have some group discussion on that, because it was, determined quite a while back that, there was only about a 35% of those that went on to either like step number 2. We're the department, and this discussion was going on prior to me showing up, so we're trying to figure out where to get the most bang for the buck on that money, and that isn't really the greatest one. But I mean, what's everybody's thoughts on that?
So first of all, when I saw Cheryl's email, I was surprised. I mean, that we've been talking about, the planning grant, you can only do so much planning, right? But, and then the next, like, maybe step 2 would be, where do we get the collateral? But, and I was talking to Michelle this morning too, these plans might not be, they might not, only 32 or 38% might have been implemented, but they're still, we don't know the shelf life of them. I mean, you can still maybe pull them off the shelf and utilize them once you get that collateral to implement the business plan. So I don't think it's but I do think, I wish the state would have told us, because we've all been talking, we can only plan so much, and I've been telling Marina that for a while. It's like, yeah, these are great, but okay, now what? And that's where it was at, I think. But then to get that email, it's like, what? Wait, who pulled what? I'm not gonna do this, so that was a shock to us, and I know, yeah, Cheryl was really.
Yeah.
Does Cheryl want to speak up?
Chairman, this is Leanne, and I just, I will own, just with kind of the way this summer has been and moving parts, some things fell through the cracks as far as, letting folks know, and then all of a sudden it was time to get out the new round of Indian equity and planning grants. So that was an oversight on my part, and I apologize. And I just to add to what Jason had said, a lot of times, like halfway through the cycle of one of the planning grants, there's often where somebody will want to switch to a different one, and it just gets really kind of messy. And so we were just trying to figure out a way to get a better bang for the buck and like more of a down payment assistance program. The kind of to help some of the Indian Equity Fund or tribal, actual tribal projects, have some cash to help some of those projects get underway. So that was kind of the thinking there. And, I think that there's the planning grants that are up, and this is just kind of an overall thought that the director has too, is that from a community standpoint, we have our community MT, they do a lot of planning grants up there. And we're even looking at changing the planning grants for the Big Sky Trust Fund, that program that we have also, and not doing, kind of moving away from the planning grants there. In his mind, it's like we're helping a lot of engineers and architects. So anyway, there's some background there, and I'm happy to take any notes that you, or thoughts that you have.
Hi, this is Cheryl. I'd just like to chime in there if I can. Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is it okay to go forward? Okay. All right. So first of all, yeah, I did bring up the question because I was just going through the motions, the routine of, okay, now I got to get ready for the for the tribal planning grant, and I start setting up meetings with my council, and all of a sudden I got on the website and saw that there was no access to forms, and that's kind of how the conversation started was, oh, well, there's no access because it's not available, to tribes anymore. So that's the form of communication that I received. And, from my experience, when I work with federal funding agencies, there's a period of consultation with tribes. And I don't know if the state of Montana implements that or would like to start implementing that, but that period of consultation for any changes is very, very important. It just really out of respect and really just puts the, I guess, hammer, on the nail there, is that, we have a conversation and we communicate with one another. So that I do believe we probably need to strengthen as a communication between the tribes, steads, and probably the State Department employees. So I would appreciate that in the future. The other thing is that I'll just give you an example. When I started in the Blackfeet Planning Department, it was in 2011, and we have several tribal campgrounds where people can go to camp, either primitive camping, that being a tent or a teepee, or pull in their RVs. There's RV parking as well. And so we had some challenges on getting infrastructure and in place, that being water and sewer, and some, I guess you'd say, staffing. And so it was really helpful at the time. Heather was our contact at the ICE program. And it was really her insight that helped me when I was starting in the planning department. What she had done was shared with me. She said, well, Cheryl, you folks have those tribal campgrounds. That's economic development. EDA did build those campgrounds for you. Are you guys interested in getting those going? And I told her, I was just asked by the council to get Chewing Black Bones up and going as a tribal enterprise again. And so, yes, we do need help. And so it was at that time, $70,000 was available. But what I wanted to, the point of this little story is that we were able to put boots on the ground. We were able to hire people. So the tribe let me use some of their funds, and then I used the $70,000 as well. And so with all that money, we were able to hire staffing. We got a general manager out there. We got some security during our 4th of July. We got some groundskeepers out there. We got the utilities up and going. And then we start putting in for, at that time, there was TIP grants available, tourism, infrastructure improvement grants. And so my planner wrote a grant and got an $80,000 grant from the state of Montana to fix, the water plant out there. And so that was useful. That was very helpful. That, like I said, there was accountability for the money. There was measurement of job performance and economic development with those funds. Then all of a sudden it was changed again probably about 2 or 3 years after that. And it went into just tribal planning. Now I understand that, these decisions are made based on probably performance benchmarks that the state probably implements and reviews and, tries to utilize their money as best they can. And we understand that. But with consultation, you could hear our side of the story where, we would have been able to also let people know, if we would have stopped and looked at, okay, for 3 to 5 years, we had tribal planning grants. For, 3 to 5 years, we had the 70,000. Oh, and then that decreased from 70,000 to, what was it? I think 28,000, then it went up to 30,000. And then it was just kind of divvied out to all these things that Jason Small had went through, the collateral program and Indian equity and all of that, which is great. Entrepreneurship, yes, it is probably the best road to economic development on reservations. However, a lot of our entrepreneurs do not have the capability or the access to capital or the land base to open stores, and then they may not understand, the bookkeeping process. They may not have the money to hire a bookkeeper, just all of those barriers. There are also, positive things that come from it. They have the product. So I understand the need for wanting to put the money into developing our entrepreneurship, but at the same time, maybe the tribe, if we had that consultation period, we could have talked more about maybe some business incubators. Now, I know that there's those, what are they called? Small business districts that are business incubators. But again, our people at these reservations, they're unique people and they don't have access. Some of them don't even have computers to that or telephones. You know, a lot of us that are here don't have cell phone access. And so if they had a place to go to on the reservations, and yes, we do have NACDC, but I'm just speaking from my experience here on the Blackfeet Reservation. There are so many entrepreneurs that are looking for funds, access to capital. You folks know that because you get most of the applications from Blackfeet, that I think NADC doesn't really have the capacity to fulfill all of those requests. So we need to supplement that some way. But I didn't want to get away from my point here. It was that, you know, if we could look at, I just want to share that with you, look at other ways, be included into giving you folks some information as to how to use those funds in other ways other than just loans. Because tribes are, I know my tribe doesn't have the funds all the time to be taking out loans. You know, we're looking at the bigger loans, like, for example, to get our nursing home built. We're looking at USDA guaranteed loans or BIA guaranteed loans. So putting in more extra loan and having to leverage those is really a strain. And it worked before when we got the 70,000 and we had accountability and we put people to work. That helped and that worked. And then, you know, like I said, it changed. But I just wanted to give you that information, my examples of what I've experienced these past 10 years on this job and how we've utilized those ICE funds. They were very helpful, yes, in planning, but you're right, they went to A&E firms or non-Indians on reservations because you have to go out and look for professional consultants. You know, you have to have people that either are an engineer, an architect, or has some kind of professional degree to help, you know, write market assessments, to help write feasibility studies so that they're legitimate, you know, and people know that this came from a person with credentials or a firm. And so, yeah, the money was leaving the reservation again. You know, but it did help. And then we don't always have projects that we can find to use a feasibility study or a business plan. And sometimes we just need to put people to work because we have, again, like I said, jobs out at our campgrounds. We need, you know, landscape people. We need people that can, you know, with IT skills. I mean, we've got resources, we've got human resources that we could put to work. So that's all I wanted to share.
Thank you. So right now, is the money, that tribal planning grant money is still there, or is it gonna? I mean, we're just kind of, you guys are still trying to decide what to do.
Yeah, so where it's sitting right now, we there's a $300,000 pot sitting there. And we were looking at doing a revolving loan fund with that 300,000 to give $100,000 loan caps to some of the like IEF participants, stuff like that. So some further like low interest rate small business loans with it. So we've kicked that around quite a bit. One of the questions I've been asking a lot, and this is a good room to ask to, as I've been traveling from place to place, you know, what is the appetite for low interest loans? And of course, these people who have these smaller businesses right now that are going pretty good, they're all over it. They really like that idea. One of the other things that we're running into just absolutely nonstop, and it holds true for everywhere, is the amount of your population that's unbankable. Reservations are all, that's the first thing you hear basically, you know, unbankable. We don't have credit, we don't have access to capital for the loans, blah, 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 collateral, yeah. You know, so that becomes this huge issue, and what some of the other places have done is give out credit building loans to even get a populace that is able to begin banking. So, I mean, there's opportunity out there. I mean, there's pretty nice song it is.
I was gonna say, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So, you know, we're still there. We're still sitting on this money at the moment right now. And, you know, so we've been leaning towards a revolving loan program with it, just to help kind of kick some people into overdrive. I mean, I think that possibility is there. And Cheryl made good points. I mean, we're looking at, so some of the changes on the IEF this year, the Indian Equity Fund grant, was to, there were a few like small changes. I mean, nothing monumental or groundbreaking, but I mean, these people, they need to have access to a business banking account. We're trying to get the applicants where they're set up to even do business, where in the past that wasn't what was happening per se. So we're made some small shifts in the direction of hopefully helping these people become a little more successful with their grants themselves. So, I mean, it's a good day. Do you, I mean, what's everybody in the room? What's your idea?
Well, go ahead. You know, back about 10 years ago, the Indian Equity Fund we felt was not, getting the fair share of the dollar. So we took away from all the tribes with agreement that we put more money into the equity fund and that we reduced the amount that tribes. But I don't see that working out. We afforded 70,000, but then we were only getting for feasibility studies. Feasibility studies are still up on the shelf, gathered and dust. At least with the other 70,000 we're getting, we were able to match it with other funds. So we could get a good project. Indian Equity, I was all for it because at that time we were only getting two at a time. And most of it was going to at large. People were didn't reside on the reservation.
We changed that this year.
Yeah.
On reservation, well, with the exception of him.
Just the dollars go to the reservation, even at large, you know. I have tribal members who live on other reservations, but they're taking Rocky Way money and moving it over to that other reservation. And that was one of the biggest problems was at that time. We figured out that our biggest problem was our NAMA. What was Fairclough Development Corporation, they will help a lot more people and right now we both kind of Fort Belknap is got their own and we're the opportunity ring is also helping with the
Yeah. For the little show, when it was the 70,000, that really helped us. I mean, we were just getting started, of course, but we were able to leverage that money to help purchase equipment for existing businesses and stuff, which really helped. I mean, and they're still going. Then it went to the planning grant, which we did do. It helped us with like planning for Health Creek, a couple other things, which is good. But like I said earlier, you can only plan so much. So that was one of the things I was bringing up to Maria, saying, you got to relook at this, you know, and she agreed. I think that's where we're at now with this. Please.
Yeah, no, I think we're all kind of, I guess maybe I kind of need to get back on this bit, so I kind of missed the whole justification for the planning grant, because, you know, we have like UVA tribal planning grants that we use, and that's how we maintain our sets. And, so our planning department, you know, it's a lot of footwork for $15,000 a year. Wiggle room, but we keep it alive and we keep it going for a purpose, to have a vision. And I agree with, we have, tribes are great at planning, and I've got so many plans over the years that people have invested good money and good time, and a lot of things are feasible. They're not just not all dreams, but we just, group of, our committee meetings and whatnot from the council. And it's, it works up, but then also the infrastructure development committee too, all my developers all at one thing to talk about specific projects. So, since I've been in the CEO position, it's been kind of distracted. I still run my planning department at the same time, but, I'm trying to focus on the low hanging fruit and the short term goals, because we all got bosses to answer to, we all got projects that we're supposed to be doing. But we also can't forget about the smaller steps to get entrepreneurs and businesses to full circle that around and bring them dollars back into the tribe, into the community. So I agree with planning. Money to the tribe. What we already kind of knew, but from what the community identified is interested in running for us, so that we can bring that dollars, back to them inside the community. But to do that, our chances are actually greater for the tribe to invest in a business incubator, right? And other things related to that, and then let those entrepreneurs thrive in there, but kind of build it and then help them out, rather than leaving them out to try to find a business venue of their own and try to get the lending to pull that off when we have, facilities to accommodate that kind of thing. Anyways, you're looking at building, and then you're looking at land, you're looking at water, sewer infrastructure, set up, all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to say that, I agree, I guess, in the bottom line, in the perfect world, we have more money to go around, sounds like we need more money. But we do have to have the flexibility to go back and forth. And not everybody's built the same, you'll have different resources on each reservation. So for Richard, go back and forth to tribal investments, entrepreneur business it's customized to what he needs versus what I need or my council needs. And that's just so flexibility would be my recommendation. We already kind of know what we want to do, and if we have the flexibility bounce back and forth, that might be perhaps a solution. Maybe that's fine. Thank you.
I just had one more comment, revolving loan. Fort Belknap, us, and Little Shell, we're all members of Fairfield Health Corporation. We have the revolving loan program going. And our business committee also just approved a project to start our own revolving loan program. Yeah. I'm not sure, Jason, what your projections were, if it was going to be a state program available to tribal members only, or just what would your program do that we don't have?
Right, so, I mean, we're finding a lot more of these that are out there than we knew about, but, no, it would be the same way. We set up, I've talked to, one bank in particular that really liked the idea and was game to start with it, but yeah, it would be towards tribal members, basically tribal members only, and, it would start there, and initially we were looking at making it available to people who had already had the Indian Equity Fund grant, so it could be a boost towards them. I mean, the whole point of that program was to get them enough money initially to be able to get a loan off of, some collateral, some form of collateral. And then once again, the discussions go back to unbankability. I mean, I've had discussions with with Leonard Smith, I mean, quite a few at this point now too, and we're trying to put together an angle, Casey Lozo with the Federal Reserve. I've talked with Casey, and we're still there, we're trying to figure out which way to take it to make it viable. One thing that my understanding was the state didn't really want to do is just take the money out. I mean, we want to make this program sustainable, be able to add to it. So it's still a work in motion.
Well, I mean, like for the roadshow, when it was given to us, it's still there. I can show you what we used it for, you know, so I don't know about the other side. It was successful that way too, you know, in terms of 70,000, and then also the 30,000, or 28,000. So I hate to see it go away. The one thing I have with the Indian Equity Fund that I kind of get a little bit leery of is seeing some of those applications, and some businesses are using it. Use a roadshow, using it for like, I want to add a bathroom. And now, I mean, this is what we, you know, let's build this business. Having a bathroom to your shop is great, but I mean, you know, I think it was more of a incubation thing to make sure this business, you know, does the bathroom do that? Maybe not, you know, I'm just like a little bit concerned.
Right, and this year we did tighten up some parameters a little bit, so I mean, that's something we can definitely look at going forward too, is to make sure everything's on a different level of legitimacy. And I'm with you there. I didn't like watching it over the years because I'm sitting in Helena fighting to get the money over there, and then people find out the money's not even going to the reservation, you know, it's going to Billings, it's going to Miles City or you know, wherever, you know, what the hell. And that goes back to one key point. I mean, the reason we have this set up is because of the unbankability issues of tribal members living on the reservation. If I'm going and buying cattle, I'm putting up 100% collateral because I live on the reservation. I mean, that's obscene. It's absolutely obscene. And whether or not you're Native American and if you're not living off the reservation, if you're living in Billings, I mean, the odds of you getting a bank loan are substantially higher than what I'm looking at, even with a successful business and collateral and everything else. So I like the step. I like bringing it back and leaving it basically for on reservation use because that's what it was intended for, and that's what it needs to be. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, and I've actually had quite a bit of positive feedback on that so far. So I think most people were in agreement, and I think a lot of people were solid up on the program. I think it wasn't going to. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
So
We got some chat here. Take a look. Bad connection, can't hear everything. That's what I thought we should check. So how are we doing now with you, Leanne, and with Cheryl?
You know, the connection's okay. It's just really hard to hear anybody but you. So, can hear Jason okay. We can hear I can hear the chairman, all right, but kind of as it goes further down the room. So I don't know if you guys need a microphone or, but anyway, you know, this is recorded. It sounds like this has been a great discussion, and, you know, I'll make sure to go back and listen to the recording after. And I appreciate everybody's feedback, and I think there were some really great comments there. So again, thank you.
And I'm experiencing the same thing as her, so.
Yes, so I will see if I can track down some help with the audio. In the meantime, we could have you batched in through a phone connection. Maybe I can join by phone, and then that phone can get passed around when people are speaking. We can experiment with that too.
I think that oh, go ahead, Chairman. It looks like you.
Well, I mean, I guess moving forward with this particular discussion, I think if we can, I think what we're asking here is if you can please communicate with us and, you know, get our opinions on this. That'd be great. I think we can help. I mean, know each of our tribal economic development departments. Sure. All right. Go ahead.
You bet, of course.
So with that, we wanted to take a 5-minute break.
That'd be
Check out and you gotta-
great.
And you're gonna look for speakers.
Yeah, if you wanna go ahead and watch it, can I set the speakers and plug them on there?
That's.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break and look for some speakers and check out. Yeah. Here, Sharon.
5 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you for your continued patience, everyone.
Oh, no.
So we are still on a break, just giving you a little update that the hotel is working on getting us some amplification to help everyone hear what the comments are in the room. And again, thank you all for your patience with this being kind of my first rodeo here. So thank you. And I think everyone will be joining us in just a few minutes. So we'll be back in touch soon.
Check, check, check.
Okay, we're doing a mic check, check, check.
Check, check.
Okay, Chairman, would you mind doing a test for us? Thank you so much. See,
Carol, can you hear us, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty.
a little louder if you don't mind. Just because we're kind of going way over there.
You try again. Check. How's that sound?
Great.
Perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, so go ahead and continue on. I think we'll be able to pick up on time with the committee reports, because I think those are kind of on hold for a little while, but we'll go ahead with Luke. You're up with yeah. And now. There you go.
Stead mission and my coworkers, thanks for the event for being on here too today. I'm just gonna go over a couple points, the Indian Equity Fund and the NAVA. And the Indian Equity Fund for fiscal year 23 or 22 was regular amount, 320,000. And Jason and I and Rochelle had done some site visits. Those are the site visits follow-ups to make sure they
No,
bought
sound.
everything.
Let's see, we've got sound there. We're with you, Cheryl. We'll just wait here, make sure you can hear us. Okay.
And I can hear.
Oh, okay. Wonder what changed.
Okay, it might just be a buffering thing because we still have internet connectivity challenges.
Maybe I'll talk slower.
Nice and slow, doing great, thank you. How you doing, Cheryl? Is it any better?
Hi, I apologize. Yeah, I had my ear plugs in. That's why I couldn't hear you. I was looking at you, but I couldn't hear you. I forgot to put my plugs in, so I got it.
Got a microphone now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good, I'm glad that I'm not the only one having technical challenges. Okay, good.
It'll freeze here and there, but I could pretty much
Oh,
get
yeah.
the gist of it.
Okay. So I think we had a question from, we're midway through the report with Luke, and then Chairman Gray just asked that.
Just the level of difference in the budget.
Yeah, Chairman Gross just asked about the level of difference. I just wanted to highlight the first year, fiscal year 21, Maria Belanger found tribe didn't use a certain grant for about 20,000. So that was just relayed over and created a few more small micro grants for the Indian Equity Fund. Last year it normalized to 320, and this year the 40,000 or so, 60,000 was taken to go into that pot of funds for utilization elsewhere. So I'm doing a little less chasing around grants this year, fiscal year 23, and we're gonna figure out how that goes. Oh yeah, I got another question.
Jason, our future meetings,
Just 1 second, Richard,
Oh.
have to repeat that, sir. Thank you.
future meetings, can the commission be afforded the budget so we can look at it, and question, so we don't ask
Yeah.
those dollars that are unspent, that every legislative session, we have to go in and fight for those dollars.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could do that. I have access to that and have to grab some help from Jason, but yeah, that'll work. So site visits wrapping up. We had some good ones each, we're finishing up the last two tomorrow for Blackfeet and CSKT. Also, the changes this year will help a little bit in spending. We have every year we have about 30% right off the bat, spend everything, maybe 30% wait till the snow melts or something, and the last few are trying to spend it at the last minute, and we have to do some amendments, but those are always fine, and having that bank account secured, something like that would be the best way to expedite that process. And I go ahead and write success stories about them, take a picture of them, put them on the business.mt.gov website so that everybody can see what's going on and stuff like that.
Can you share that when you do that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I have some of the pictures in there in the website or on the website, but I'll pull that up. It'll be out there on the website as well.
yeah, I could email the link to everybody and say, there you go, I'll provide that next time. Updated link, so just a lot of tasks to this, Indian Equity Fund chasing people around to spend it and then do the closeouts, include the budget of future meetings. Fiscal year 23 advertising went well. Right now, we have about 13 applications. Last year, we had about 115 apply the night before the deadline, August 31st, so it might happen again, but receiving a lot of help from the Navas on the reservation bank account spending, so yeah, the good NAVA assistance, and I'll switch into the Native American Business Advisors. Those are going as per usual. We have the usual suspects apply each year, except for Fort Belknap this year. We have another one in there that's Montana Native Growth Fund, and then the usual Native or Dakota Ani Credit Agency, which has the character report, has the background and everything. I want to give a second look at Montana Native Growth Fund next year. If they get some experience. It's a lot to do and close out. Like for Little Shell, Brian Atkins is hustling over there and doing a lot of good work. And let's see, I had been doing a quarterly call with the Navas. For example, I had Shannon Hunter Transportation featured on one of my NAVA calls where I update them on the goings on of this and then introduce them to new people like that. So I introduced them to Plenty Doors when Rochelle and I did the site visit for Indian Equity Fund in Pro. We stumbled across Shannon Hahn doing a QuickBooks training for entrepreneurs on the Pro res there, and a lot of them are applying this year, so that referral network and that partnership just helped them to increase their capacity and get some good training to the tribe. So I want to continue that. To get less busy maybe next quarter, some folks like maybe Tim Gardapi, Amber Lamb, Department of Labor, stuff like that, to connect them all with good resources. So that's what I've been doing, and been helping out a little bit with the Native American Cloud support and just enjoying it and doing all that good work. So that's all I have. Thank you. Any questions?
You plan on visiting any tribal offices tomorrow? Is the offices are closed tomorrow?
Oh no, tomorrow we're just going to CSAT.
Let's just make sure.
Oh, excuse me.
I just wanted to let you know that all of our tribal offices are closed Thursday and Friday this week, because one of our council members passed away yesterday. So, just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. However, we have just a 10 o'clock appointment with Heir to the Throne. We usually do invite you folks, the Stead Commission, James Bible, my NABA there. He's out of town as well on vacation. So just as we're in this area, I'm teleworking out of Billings, so, and Jason's teleworking too, so we're just kind of wrapping it up and making it work with our resources, unfortunately. So I think that's gonna have to happen. And yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Do you have any additional questions? No, everyone ready to keep moving forward?
Yep.
Okay.
So you're up next.
All right, let's look at. So my report for, this is Rochelle Brown for the travel tourism report, and let me just do a share item here.
All right, so it's been a very busy summer for Indian Country summer events and promotion, as well as a busy spring with many rounds of grants that went out. So the Tribal Tours of Enhancement Grant Program is a pilot program, and it was funded by the excess in bed tax collection from 21. We received 7 portfolios of projects, wish list projects, 7 of the 8 tribal regions. The one that we unfortunately didn't receive from was Fort Belknap, but I do understand they were extremely busy with other things going on during this time, and this was a surprise rapid program. The hope is that even with the Yellowstone flooding this year, with the rises in gas prices, inflation, will still bring in some decent bed tax collection from tourism visitors. Those numbers won't be known until the end of the year. But we are hopeful that there'll be sufficient excess that we'll be able to do another round of the enhancement grant program. And what made that program very unique is that there was no matching funds. So we had a large budget to work with, and we could do it targeted towards wish list of project ready, shovel ready items. And I think everyone's submission, all the work that went into that was really incredible. So now it gets to the point where we will do the reimbursement of the funds. Now it's time to start trying to get these projects going, which, you know, we're going to be going into the fall and the winter, and those are the challenges. So we'll talk about that at the end of my presentation, because I really would love to hear your feedback on what you think are going to be things that are going to work well and things that are going to be challenges in order to meet those goals. So let's see here. We're back to the agenda. I'm just going to skip through these because you have those on your handout. So we had a big summer events campaign. Director Osterman dedicated $60,000 to my department to do a advertising campaign, for which we hired Hoffman York, an ad agency, to do the work on this. They are the agent of record with Department of Commerce. And then Brand MT, one of the other departments, were with Business MT. Brand MT, they did matching funds, which expanded the reach of this to $160,000. So we were able to do radio, billboard, and social media campaign. This billboard is actually one that Sheldon King from Northern Cheyenne chose to do his own campaign. Now, we really were trying to have an amount set aside for each tribe, and then have those resources be executed by Hoffman York. But I believe that in the frenzy of trying to get this thing launched, there was some miscommunication on my part and a misunderstanding between myself and some of those that I was working with in the different economic development or promotional powwow committee departments, where Sheldon wanted to go ahead and take on the money and do his own promotion. So he's a one set aside of the 8 Nation promotional campaign. So this is one of the billboards that he went ahead and secured. So we reimbursed this vendor for that cost, and it was outside of the grand campaign that the rest of the nations were featured in. So this is one of the billboards that was up for the Arlie 4th of July celebration. Then we've got the Blackfeet North American Indian Days. We have the Fort Belknap Milk River Indian Days. We've got the Chippewa Cree, and as Vice Chair Richard had mentioned, I'm learning some things with this, that powwow and the rodeo, that encourages people to come, but then they also kind of compete against these 2 events. And so it might be a good lesson for the future that we do a dedicated campaign for each of them and try to promote something that's not going to be a competition with each other at the same location. So Crow Fair, what happened was we actually had a campaign for Crow Native Days, and then the vendor did not deliver. So they had to credit us back. So we then reinvested that into promoting Crow Fair. So Crow Native Days investment did not happen as planned, and therefore we were fortunate to have another event later in the summer that we could put those funds towards. And then coming up this weekend, we've got the Little Shell Powwow that's going to be here in Great Falls. So some additional things that we did here were the radio spots. And so I don't know if you had an opportunity to hear any of them, but we had one produced from a station out of Sheridan, Wyoming. This was a very quick turnaround because the date for this event was happening very soon. So we didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of production on it. So the first one is from the Sheridan production, followed by Fort Belknap, the Rescast production, and you'll notice that the Fort Belknap billboard was not featured, and that's because we did not have enough time to secure a billboard for that. By the time we had this money and we had the campaign exercise, there was about a week to a week and a half before the Red Bottom celebration was going to happen. So we didn't have enough time to secure a board for that. Yeah,
Real quick, will these be, are you gonna do it next year too?
we hope so. So when I say we hope so, this money was a surprise.
Right.
It was based on excess Fed tax. So it's going to be up to the director. If we can prove that this was successful, then I think we've got a very strong case for getting refund, additional funding.
So how much input did we get on like the billboard?
You're going to find out. I'm going to take you through some analytics.
Okay, because I have a couple comments.
Great, good. And billboard measurements, those ones are going to be a little bit longer to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just tell you right now, like our billboard it's kind of hard to read.
Okay,
So that was one of the things, and then the placement is going out of Great Falls, not coming in Great Falls. We're here, not that way.
there you go. So this is the kind of feedback we need, Chairman. I appreciate that. And this is the other challenge. The agent of record for the Department of Commerce, we have some critiques that we are looking at to go back to trying to get some competitive agencies that know us better. This is an out-of-state agency, and a lot of our departments are finding some serious challenges that we'd like to see better, honestly. So we definitely appreciate your feedback.
Well, it's only gonna enhance it, and you can get more bang for the buck.
You're exactly right. Yes, this whole point is to make this successful. We're not trying to throw this money away.
And the other way, I mean, money to work too,
Yep.
because it's our event.
It's your event. That's right. So if you feel, Sherman, do we have enough time just to listen to these little 30-second bits? Okay.
Summer, come experience the unique traditions and celebrations across the tribal nations of Montana. We invite you to feel our rhythms, hear our stories, and enjoy our rich history through our powwows, games, Indian relay races, and rodeos. It all starts with the Assiniboine and Sioux tribes at Fort Peck's Red Bottom celebration, June 16th to the 19th in Fraser, Montana. Find details and more native events at visitmontana.com/Indian country.
This summer, experience the unique traditions and celebrations across the tribal nations of Montana. You're invited to feel the rhythms, hear the stories, and enjoy the rich history through powwows, games, Indian relay races, and rodeos. It all starts with the Northern Cheyenne Victory Days, the Wiping of Long Hair Celebration Indian relay races, June 24th and 25th in Busby, Montana. A large purse will be awarded to the relay race winner. For more information, go to visitmt.com or contact Sheldon King, 406-720-0894.
And just one more.
This summer, come and experience the unique traditions and celebrations across the tribal nations of Montana. We invite you to feel our rhythms, hear our stories, and enjoy our rich history through our powwows, games, Indian relay races, and rodeos. It all starts with the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes at the Arley 4th of July celebration, July 1st through the 4th in Arley, Montana. Find details and more native events at visitmt.com.
So what I will have for you, and I've sent these out before, but I will send them again. It's a full tracker that shows you everywhere that these ads were placed.
what dates they ran from, what the budget was spent on each of them. And one of the most expensive budget items was the social media buys. So this will give us the feedback that we can use to determine with your input, how you want to leverage these monies. It costs essentially 8 times as much to run a bunch of Facebook ads as it does to do some billboard and radio, that people aren't utilizing those as much. But it really kind of depends on demographics, where you want to reach people. And I'm going to move forward into some of, not that one, sorry. Yes, go ahead.
What, question? There are a number of radio stations on tribal lands that you probably work with also. Fort Belknap, Rockville, Browning, they all have their own, I don't know, Center Stupid don't have their own radio station. Yeah, but we do have radio stations on the reservation. We would surely accept any campaigns.
Excellent to know. I think another thing that was important for the production is that it needed, at least with this agency, they needed a reliable internet connection. So it turned out that when Gail Stunkcap went to Shelby to do the recording, they didn't have internet there. So it ended up creating a whole bunch more challenges to get this thing produced. So we're learning on the fly. This all had to be done in a very short time frame. So the important thing is to now convert these lessons into being more successful going forward. So this is tiny print. I don't expect anyone to be able to read this. I have sent these out to everyone before, but I will send them again so they're fresh in your box. And this is the big schematic that tells you everything about what we spent the money on. And, you know, all the different placements, the dates, where things did not get delivered and we got credited back, and then where those monies went to. So you'll have not only transparency about what was spent on what and when, but also give you some really good ideas about what we could maybe do better going forward, should we get the opportunity to. Again, tiny print. This is printed out in your, you'll find it in your packet. And Cheryl and everyone that's joining us remotely, I will be sure to get this emailed to you so that you can take a look at it. It's essentially the social media, Facebook, Instagram traffic. So it's broken down, color coded by event and over a course of dates. And it's dated as of July 17th, so it's a month old data. Uh-oh, we got unstable connection. Jeez Louise. Okay, gotta check the chat, see this. It's like impossible to multitask. Oh, I don't see it showing up on your mates because it's frozen. Essentially, we have, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said you're good. It's not even frozen.
Okay, great. Okay. So we have over 9 million internet impressions within the first month and a half of this campaign. So, sorry, geez Louise, this is solve one problem, create another. And over 40,000 clicks. Now, this is what's tracked at Facebook and Instagram. How does it translate to traffic to our state website? So when you go to the next page, you'll see the analytics for Visit MT. And this is just a little free shot for those joining us remotely. But again, I need to follow up. There are pages of analytics here to have you go ahead and dig through. These are through August 18th. we still have another week, this week to go. And I hope to have a very dynamic synthesized report for you by September, probably mid to late September, that will give you all sorts of measurements to determine what kind of traction this campaign garnered. So it looks as though the overall traffic resulted in over 7,200 72,000 visits to Visit MT Indian Country events and Indian Country pages. So the events were over 48,000 visits to the events tab and page on Visit MT. And then you can see as we go through, they're ranked according to the highest visited to some of the lower visited pages, how long the visitor stayed on the page. And I thought it was very impressive. So both had the longest page visit from a visitor, almost, 3.5 minutes to almost 4 minutes respectfully between Blackfeet and Crow. And I think that one element there, my theory is both of those pages feature some videos, and those videos are a couple of minutes. And so that would have someone stay there longer. So that to me is an indication that more content development, more videos, getting those on our site will have people engage more with considering a visit and wanting to educate themselves before planning a trip. Also, Visit MT said that whenever they do a campaign, it's usually like a peak and then the traffic sloughs off and kind of goes down. But this is a rolling campaign. And so transaction with traffic, and a lot of these graphics start to show that heartbeat of people, if the peaks are going to check it out, that event passes, another campaign rolls in, it gets their interest, they go again. And so then you see some of that traffic, demonstrating itself. And then we've got, again, just the pages, the resources, the etiquette, people that are, perusing around, searching things. Through this website, a visitor can request an Indian Country guidebook. And in 2 months, we have received, just from when we got the guidebooks printed, which was the very beginning of, I think our first delivery arrived the end of June, and then the floods of downtown Helena took out our printer for a week and a half. So we had a bunch of requests, but they couldn't get the books out. In 2 months, we've had over 4,000 unique requests and over 11,000 guidebooks have gone out. There is a lot of interest on the part of the public, and the CVBs are telling us, people come in here and they're asking us all the time, are we allowed to go visit any of the tribal nations of Montana? And then they go to try to hand them a guidebook, but they're out. And so there is a huge desire on the part of the non-native public to have an opportunity to come and learn about the cultures in Montana. And then the last page is, again, it gives you the top to the bottom, the most viewed, the longest views. So Crow Fair, there is a huge spike on Crow Fair, and that goes along with, again, the timing of it. It was the event that just happened. So that seems to kind of correlate. As these events get closer, people start looking at them. So this is not all of the information available that I can share with you. I will be emailing you many more. It's just the data size is too big for me to put it all into one email. So if you don't mind me filling your email box, point here is there's still a lot of work to do. I'm excited about the potential here. And I just wanted to thank everybody from all the tribal nations for communicating with me, helping to take a look and make sure the dates and information were accurate. Those that participated in the radio recording, Chairman or Director Osterman for finding the funding for this, and Brandon T matching it so we could go even further. And I really hope that we'll have an opportunity to do something even bigger and better this next summer, because we'll get more time to get started and we won't have to do it, rushed. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Okay, and your point about where those billboards are placed is noted.
Yeah, no,
I-
also like to reiterate, thank the director for providing these funds at such a last minute. It really did help, and I'm sure we can. We have another question.
Yeah, I think Cheryl has a comment.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to thank everybody too for this endeavor. It sounds like it was a success. I don't know if you got a chance to go to the Browning or the Blackfeet. We have a radio station too, 107.5, but I'm sure Gail might have filled you in with all of that. Because you did do the radio spot you said in Shelby, but did you folks do one in Browning at that our radio station? I'm sorry, it's frozen. I don't know if
So I'll have to double check that big color on the event tracker document that I sent out over the last couple of months. I've sent it out a few times, but I will make sure to send it out again today so you have the most up-to-date version. It will tell you all of the radio stations that your event ran on.
Okay, and then was there a billboard for Blackfeet? I'm sorry, I didn't see any. I haven't been out of my area for quite some time, but I didn't hear anybody talking about billboards for Blackfeet for the NAID.
Yes, there was at least one billboard for Blackfeet, and that will be listed on that as well. It will say the company and the board number. I believe it was on I-90, just outside of Missoula.
Missoula's pretty far from here. I don't know anything about the marketing strategy, but is that to attract people that are driving through Montana, let them know about events? Because that's so far away from our area. I would have thought it would have been probably closer to Great Falls off of that interstate, but because that's closer to us. But I was just wondering about the strategy of it.
Yes, so there's a couple of strategies. The first strategy was to try to encourage people from out of state and try to catch people where we've got a lot of traffic happening. They've got just a few seconds to see something. So we're trying to plant a seed that there is an event that's happening that maybe is unique or intriguing to them to go to visit MT and to start to explore a potential experience. So that was one part of it. The other part of it is by coming to this campaign very late, we had only a few boards available that we could secure. I had actually wanted the boards to be secured on the perimeter of the state, not within the state, because I was trying to bring in those traveling dollars. And we embarked on this campaign just before the floods of Yellowstone. So we were hoping that the kind of traffic that Montana saw in 2020 and 2021 of out-of-state visitors, that we would capture them on their way into the state through one of the main arteries, what am I trying to say? One of the main roads.
Yeah.
Arteries, yes.
Okay.
And yeah, so that was the hope, but the execution was less than what we had originally aspired to accomplish.
Sure. And then my final question on this is, when you did the billboard for Blackfeet, was it somehow, I I guess, piggyback with Glacier National Park because everybody wants to go to Glacier National Park as well, which we are, just the border reservation of that, which also, really helps. I know when people look for places to go in Montana, one of the biggest words that are looked up is glacier, right? So was that on the Blackfeet billboard as a selling point?
No, the thinking with the billboard is that you have someone traveling some distance between 60 and 80 miles per hour. You can't have a lot of information on that board. 7 words or less is what Chairman Gray says. So when it comes to the billboard, those they've got to be really visual and just a few target items on there so that you hope some of that data embeds safely in a driver on a highway. However, that's why we really put a lot of effort into radio and into the social media, Facebook, Instagram posts, because you can put more information through those channels than you can in a flash with a billboard.
Okay, so I heard a little bit of Gail's radio, but I'm sure that was incorporated, right? Glacier National Park with the Blackfeet tribe.
You're right. There was nothing
Okay.
about Glacier in the advertisements that Gail did.
Well, maybe that should be visited because that's, that is a seller point. I mean, you try to lure people to your area and you use landmarks. And so I guess that's something we could talk about down the road.
No, your point, these are the points that we need to hear. This is exactly what we need to hear. How can we best effectively market these events? What are the things that we can highlight? How those scripts should be written, where they should be placed, where they should be recorded, when they should be put up, where they should be put up. So
Right.
I'll just tell you, when we hired this ad agency, we expected that those kinds of things would already be known, that this wouldn't be like some brand new adventure. And it certainly felt a brand new adventure. And that was not satisfactory to us at the end of this. So we wanted better if we get the opportunity to do it again.
Well, okay, because the reason I keep hitting on Glacier National Park is you have to come to the Blackfeet Reservation. You have to drive through the Blackfeet Reservation to get to Many Glaciers, which is part of Glacier National Park, to get to the east side of the entrances, going to the Sun Road. I mean, it is so significant and such an impact that there should be no reason, Blackfeet and Glacier National Park are separated. They should always be in the same media spots together because they can't get in or out on the east side without being on the Blackfeet Reservation and the Upper Two Medicine, which are just beautiful spots. So yeah, I'm really glad you had mentioned that because one of the reasons behind them not being mentioned was your contractor probably didn't know to do that. Their inexperience or their lack of knowledge, of the Blackfeet Reservation and Glacier National Park and how we're intertwined. So yeah, it would be good, again, consultation with the tribes. That's
Yes,
all I would say.
thank you, Cheryl. And I will also just mention, I believe that the Going to the Sun Road did not open until July 13th. And that I think was one of the, not that it was ever even in consideration to market it with Glacier, but just knowing that, that this is a factor, right? If you're marketing that they come through to go to Glacier, is that a challenge there?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out.
Oh, okay. I think we've got an unstable connection. Because I guess we're losing each other. We'll go ahead and
Okay.
offline. I would love to talk to you more, Cheryl, about how we
Yeah.
can flesh out ways to make this a really successful campaign in the future, what those target points should be. And I think, again, there's a lot to learn from this experience.
Yeah, no, I just appreciate the fact that you folks had some money to get us on the map. So, it's growing, it's growth. But thank you.
Okay.
It was a quick turnaround, please. Okay, so moving on to the agenda, I don't think we have a lot of committee reports, right? Michelle, we're kind of on hold with that.
I am not aware of who's in charge of those reports. I did see something on your strategic plan. I think some people were assigned to those committees,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure if any of you might have an update. Okay, Cheryl has something.
We
Go ahead.
don't know if she sent an email. She addressed one.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Cheryl, I got your email about the STED development questions. And your first question are, this is the correct one, are the grant projects on schedule and will they be completed on time? Number one.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Luke. I just
Yeah.
wanted to say those questions are actually to the manpower department, if you see that, and you and Rochelle are CC'd, just so that we have some feedback for Rochelle's segment when she was talking about, you know, those are some questions that'll be coming out. I apologize. I was just keeping you guys in the
My
loop.
fault. We were just corresponding via email a lot, and I thought this was
Oh.
your follow-up to our. Sorry.
Oh, no.
technical difficulty.
That's what
Forget
I'll
that
be
question.
asked.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you just for reminding. So the truck equipment being purchased, Chairman Gray, is it possible for anyone to provide a little update on what they know on those projects?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We'd love to hear what's happening at Little Shell and.
So with background, we had, like you said, we purchased a lot of equipment that, when we go to campgrounds and level lawnmowers, side by sides.
Yep.
Looking at redoing the fish training station.
Yep.
So,
Did a lease get secured by chance with the Army Corps for managing?
yes,
Do
yeah,
you-
that's all good.
How many years, do you know?
Well, no, we're.
You're negotiating.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if anyone else knows about that.
And then, Vice Chair, you mentioned something about a potential future that you'd like to see some investment in the rodeo grounds. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Could you tell us a little bit of what kind of grant program details would really target the kind of work that you think would, the rodeo grounds could benefit from?
I think, actually, new fencing around the area. So out in the open there where, ranchers are using. Loading up their cattle there. And then the barbed wire fences are cut, and people are going through there. And it needs, just new painting. Needs to be, upgraded. There are a few things that we would have to take a look at, that need improvement on.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything that you could add, Elena?
Sure, thank you. This is Delana or Belknap. Yeah, I'll jump on this tourism request here or mention. For Fort Belknap, in the Mission Canyon, more signage, again, on roadways and then inside the canyon, because we had worked with different federal agencies on trails, and we do have some nice mapping and whatnot, for so maybe smart printing those, making those electronic and available on social media more. And then signage, to guide people, because some of the geo travelers would like to camp. They don't know about the camping rules. Really, there's not much of that, so it's open to the public. And then we'd also like the same thing. We call it our Hayes fairgrounds, but it's the same thing, rodeo arena. We did invest in some rodeo arena equipment out there on our own, but we do need features, again, signage, things like that, to accommodate visitors and whatnot. So we just took over control with the Freedom Bison Range, on the Flathead Reservation, which is a huge deal for us. And, you know, I would say, you know, well, for sure, reservation is so unique. We have so many people moving to their reservation who don't know anything living on a reservation, or people who own businesses on a reservation who don't know living on a reservation. So I think somehow, you know, increased signage for the bison range, and with that, letting people know that they are on a reservation. You know, and I think that listening to talk about billboards and how short the words have to be, if there could just be something that lets people know they are on a reservation and that to visit our bison range. Because once you're on the bison range, they switched over a lot of the signs to Salish specific information, which is really cool. So the signage has been updated on the, or it's in the process of being updated in the bison range. But a lot of people might drive through the reservation and not know that there's a tribally managed bison range on the reservation. So it's a really cool thing if you've never visited.
Okay.
So, we'll get back to the agenda with the committee thing. I do have a list of, who was on each of the committees. So like the governance committee, it's, myself and Misty, and we can do an update next time. So with that, we'll move on. We're way behind now, to, Jason, in the legislative.
All right, I'll make this pretty short and sweet. As far as legislature goes, it's coming up start of January this year. One item of discussion, nearly every bit of money that goes into Indian country is funded on an OTO one-time only basis. There'll be programs coming up like Montana Indian Language Preservation, MMIW bills, CHAP community health aid program, and quite a bit of mental health work. So realize that every year or every session when this comes up, it's a fight. So if folks are your legislators, your local area legislators, or whatnot are asking you to please say something, please show up, please talk, please speak. From the legislative standpoint, please do that. It helps. We have to fight every session for this money and have a few more people back in the sure helps.
That was Chairman, thank you. You know, we usually have through the state commission with print some, have some printouts of what's happening on the legislation. During the legislative, I guess, what do you call it, for the orientation? And what would be, I brought this along, you know, each reservation has one, maybe little shelf. You don't allow it, they're federally recognized, say, you can come up with a brochure like that, so it's not like a state commission. There's a lot of information.
Years ago, there was an actual report done, and two sessions ago, we passed a decennial report that we're supposed to be doing. And it's in the mandate, it was only funded to the tune of somewhere around, I think it's that number, $48,000. Well, the previous report took 7 years and $100,000 a year, it was $700,000 total. So right now in state tribal relations in the interim committee, we're working on some legislation to try to improve our ability to do it. Frankly, $50,000, that just buys the paper it's going on. So we can't get anything done with it. It's just impossible right now. But one of the things we also need to bring up as everybody goes home is once we hopefully this session we get some more stuff in place and find some funding. One of the things we are doing is we're adding to the bill that we can accept outside funding sources, and that's something that wasn't in the original. I've done a little bit of work with, once again, Casey at Federal Reserve. We might be able to use their statistician, so that's gonna help get the cost down. We may have access to that, and we're looking at outside stuff, but it's extremely imperative, like, this is old information. Well, I think everybody sitting in this room right now understands the fact that as the tribes get direct and indirect federal money, that's going straight to the state. I mean, we're keeping everybody afloat with that, so we need to be able to do the reporting, then to show that, hey, you know, we contribute to the state in more ways than you know, and I almost expect at the end of the day that we're bringing more money into the state than they're ever giving us. I mean, it's definitely not what people tend to think it is, and we're a huge bolster for Montana's economy. We just gotta be able to prove it. So hopefully something will work out. And when we get to that bill, when we start running that, it's gonna die probably several times. There'll be tons of deals made, all kinds of stuff will get held over our head to cut some other funding. That's how the game works. But anyway, if you start getting messages and calls, I'd encourage you guys to do some promotion and get some people to show up to Christmas.
That's a good point. The Little Shower, we're a good poster child for that, because we don't have a reservation. All of our money that comes into the state through $2 million right back into the state of Montana.
Northern Cheyenne, if you don't quote.
It's a big deal. We'll do with that. So do you want to break for to propose, or do you want to cover the MOU?
Yeah, if you, yeah, what I is, if it's okay, Chairman, is just to broach the subject for lunch and see how you feel. You all feel about this MOU. First of all, the general question of what we're talking about, TAC, SE, EDC, MOU, LOUOP, whatever. So we've got TAC stands for the Tourism Advisory Council. It is a board currently of 12 reps around the state from the and the 6 regions. Yes.
Would you just hit the high points of it and give everybody something to think about?
Yes, exactly. So then we've got the State Tribal Economic Development Corporation, and MOU is a memorandum of understanding. It's a 5-year agreement that that is in statute, that there will be one tribal representative from a tribal council, and one representative that is from a tribal business that serve on the TAC council to represent tourism interests for all of Indian country of Montana. Yes,
Is that new?
that's in it. That's what's been going on for 5 years. So the MOU is in your packet. There's supposed to be the 2 reps.
For each tribe, right?
Nope,
Oh, because Gail sits on
nope,
it. No, he's sitting on it.
nope. So what we have is yeah, so no, excuse me. So we have Nathan St. Goddard, who is the tribal business representative. He's from a outfitter company. So he's the tribal business rep. And then we have Lane Spotted from Northern Cheyenne as a council member that's on the TAC. As far as I understand, Lane's not been able to attend any meetings. And I believe that Nathan has been just very recent. So one thing that is in this agreement, the main point from Rachel Gregg is the executive leader of TAC. Yeah. And her and I met, we went over the MOU, and the proposal from their committee is that we better define deepening the relationship between TAC and STED. Now it just says to have a relationship, but it doesn't say how to have a deep relationship. One way of doing that is to make a commitment to attending once a year each of the meetings, maybe updating each other. Another proposal that Jason and I came up with was to have 2 alternates for each of the 2 appointed positions. So then we've got a chance of getting a broader representation from the diverse community that is the tribal nations of Montana. And if one person can't go, there's at least potentially 2 alternates that they could go to replace them. At least someone will show up. So these are some things where we'd love for you to consider and think about any other ideas that you may have. This agreement expires the end of September, October 1. And whatever the counter proposal is for drafting a new MOU and potentially a legislative component to get it put into statute that there can be alternates added, then we can craft a new MOU and get that circulated and get the signatures of whoever is the chairman of STED and the chairperson of TAC. Okay, so we can convene for lunch, but just wanted to kind of plant that seed, that thought process of how I
Hi, Rochelle.
And the
I'm
state
sorry.
side of the state, because Browning and CSKT are a little bit more similar than CSKT and Lake Deer. And they're really different places, or CSKT and Fort Peck. Really different kinds of issues and people we attract for different reasons. And then if one doesn't make it, then the other one probably can, with 2 people on, but I would
Good
say
argument.
something about that.
Cheryl. Go ahead, Cheryl.
I'm sorry, yeah, it keeps freezing up. I didn't know if you folks had left. I was just going to ask on TAC, is that supposed to be a representative that is from the tribe, like a tribal staff member, or an entrepreneur? Because Nathan is not, does not work for the Blackfeet tribe. He is an entrepreneur. And I think the guy before that, I forget his Elder Swaney, I think might have been on there, also an entrepreneur. So are you looking for, is TAC looking for tribal representatives that work for the tribes, or does it matter? Is it either or? Can it be an entrepreneur or a tribal representative? That was my question. And I'm sorry, I can't hear anybody talking. The screen is frozen. I can see the chat if you want to write a response to.
Cheryl, I don't know if someone hit the mute on here, but we're gonna go ahead and convene
Yeah.
for lunch. And so we will come back on at 1 PM. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, I just heard you, Rochelle, and I'll talk to you folks after lunch.
Say that one more time, Cheryl. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I was just saying, I just heard your comment and I'll wait for you folks after lunch. I just had the question about who serves on the TAC committee, but we could talk about that later.
No problem. Thank you so much. We'll be talking real soon. I appreciate it.
Okay. Have a good lunch. Bye.
Okay. All right, we are resuming the STED meeting in Great Falls, Montana Heritage Inn, August 24th, 2022. When we left off, we were talking about the TAC, and Cheryl Rivas, and when she's able to join us, does have a question to get some clarity on the TAC MOU and the structure of the TAC.
Hi, this is Cheryl. Yeah, I just went ahead and sent it in the chat. I was just asking if I understood the conversation. My question was, is a TAC member supposed to be a tribal employee or staff person or leader or an entrepreneur, one or the other? Is that a choice? Or I just didn't know who serves on that TAC committee.
Thanks, Cheryl. And in the provide, there are 2 tribal reps to the TAC. They are appointed by the governor. One has to come from tribal council. You have to be a tribal council member. The second one has to be a tribal business owner.
Okay, great. That clears up who serves on there. Who is the tribal council member for the Blackfeet?
So just to further clarify, we don't, at this point, the way that it's written and structured, you don't get 2 for each tribe. There are only 2 total for all of the tribal nations. There's only 2 reps to represent everybody.
Oh, okay. So it's Nathan Sankador from Blackfeet, and then who is the other representative?
Yeah, it's Lane Spotted Elk from Northern Cheyenne. He's a Northern Cheyenne council member.
Okay, what are their responsibilities? Are they supposed to be reaching out to the tribes or?
Very good. Here is this MOU document that I had emailed out to everybody with the agenda. Kind of lays out this relationship between TAC and STED. However, while you're talking, I'm going to be writing notes. If we read section 2, Cheryl, were you able to to obtain that MOU that I had emailed out a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe it's Jason's helping us out here. He's saying it's section 2 that lays out the responsibilities.
It starts from there.
Okay, I'm going to, you mind taking that? I'm going to take some notes real quick.
Yeah, so if you're looking for section 2, number 4, TAC, and you put
So I think her question relates specifically to whether or not it lays out the responsibilities of the two representatives that are on TAC, not a part of STED.
All the two that are on TAC are supposed to be representatives from other areas that were not originally involved, so. This was all, I don't know if you follow. This kind of work, but Senate Bill 309 in 2017 was a rewrite to try to get some representation for the country on here. And it also set an allowance of the 0.5% of the tourism tax money we got. So if you were to follow that back then, you found that bill died, crashed in committee. It was originally setting up a much higher rate, but it was dead in the door now. I personally negotiated that rate down to revive it. And we got that back out. So that's what kind of set the stage for what we have going right now.
Thank you. I think Richard. Have a comment.
The material you sent out. Wasn't there some changes made?
So what I did send out was historical information from 2017, when the MOU was first being drafted and crafted. And the current MOU from 2017 that needs to be updated. And then just the proposal of section 3, number 1, how to better define deepening a relationship. And so there's been no changes to this since its original form. What we're talking about today is what you might want to see as a change to this, what you hope it could be maybe modified to be more representative of what you'd like to see happen with TAC.
So change 0.5 to 10%.
There you go. Put down your wish list, right? Did you have any comments on any of this?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, having representation from the eastern part of the state and the western part of the state, I think would be a little bit more representative. And I really like the idea of alternates as well. So if there's someone from the eastern part of the state and someone from the western part of the state, each of those people, those two people can have alternates to ensure that always being represented and diverse, yeah. And I think maybe even for the entrepreneur, I think it's a good idea to have a native entrepreneur, and maybe that could be also set up the same way, one from each side of the state, just because it's so different. Even our weather's different, everything's different.
Excellent. Did you have any?
This is Delina, Chairman Gray, I'm just gonna make a comment here. I think from my council's perspective, as a STED representative, my council would ask the same thing, I think, is what Cheryl was mentioning, is getting around the fact that there's one federal representative, but, you know, we have one on STED, we have, you know, et cetera, many committees and stuff. I think that as STED representatives, getting that feedback from our tribal council and making sure that they understand that it is one representative, though it may be for one tribe, with responsibility to carry on tourism initiatives, wants and successes and challenges and all that, on the task for us, for the tribes. I mean, that's a big responsibility. There's a lot of moving parts of tourism, and so long as, you know, our councils, all our leadership understands that this person would have that responsibility, but that they would have some type of a understanding of who these folks would be, and if there's a recommendation to let them know who would be considered for such a thing, or have them make a recommendation, you know, would be helpful, I think, from the council leadership perspective. Running that through the state commissioners representing each tribe, I think, making sure our councils get some input on who someone from their reservation would be, or at least recognize what these other entrepreneurs or businessmen would be representing, you know, the tribes as a whole. That's all I'd like to say.
So a lot of time what happens on these boards is, you have people, they send their names for, it, and that's where they, they're picking from, so it would still be up to tribes or whatever entity to get those names.
This is Cheryl. I have a question. You mentioned that the governor appointed these two positions, people to these two positions. How did he get the names? Did that come from the tribal leaderships from the all 8 tribes, or I might have missed that?
One more time, go ahead and say it again.
Okay, again, so what generally happens on these boards is tribal leadership or one of the entities affiliated with them will put forth these names, and that's where your list comes from, that they pick from.
Oh, yeah, yeah, but, yeah, I don't see, you know, I think these changes. I'm not gonna
Okay, do you wanna pause the recording and do any sidebar conversation or I'm not sure. I just want to make sure that when we talk low, other people can't hear us.
Perhaps if we can summarize the potential changes of recommendation, and then that way we can give some better direction on whether or not we want to move forward with any of those options.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, my recommendation would be to have about tribal leaders look at the list of candidates also and make their recommendation. Since they'll be reporting to not only to their own tribe, but also to all the tribal leaders.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's a good forum because we do have all the tribes present during those quarterly meetings. And we capture an audience.
Okay, so where we're at right now is 1, to ensure that we have an eastern and western rep. 2, to add an alternate to appointees to make sure that we do have participation. And then 3 would be to have the group like Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders to also be able to help establish that list.
What about the consideration of a commitment to someone or all of STED being willing to attend one TAC meeting a year and having TAC members be willing to attend one STED meeting a year so that we can in person deepen the relationship? Under circumstances, maybe remote may be the only way to go, but that there is a commitment of some kind of exchange, collaboration between the parties. Is that something that the committee members would consider?
For sure. And that's a great idea.
Cheryl, do you have any additional comments on any of that?
No, I think those are very good suggestions. I do believe, I'm glad you added that a STED member should, attend those meetings and bring that information back. And that would strengthen the relationship that we're trying to develop with TAC. Because right now, I don't even know what they do or who they were, I did see Nathan at one of the tourism conferences, and that was, but I didn't know he actually represented, that he was there on as his position, I guess I should say. So no, I think
Okay,
that's good.
well, great. Thank you so much, everybody, for that. Chairman, I think that I can take these suggestions back to TAC. Then we will look at what we can do to draft and put these, embed them into or further negotiate these terms into an updated MOU. Some things are only done by statute, but perhaps we could put in a trigger effect, meaning right now it's set by statute that there's only 2 reps, only 1 tribal member, 1 tribal business owner, no alternates. Perhaps we could put in, should the statute change and be modified with flexibility to include alternates or potential east-west representational geographical reps, then that would get triggered and begin as soon as the law gets changed so that we don't have to draft another MOU. Is that something you'd be willing to consider me pitching for you? Okay. So I think at this point, we might be going to the item.
Okay, next item is election of officers for 2023. So the two officers are Richard and myself, is that correct? So how do we work this?
Very good question. So,
The last one, I was in a long time ago.
okay. So in the handbook, let's see here what it says. Voting. We got in here, it says the how to go about doing election of officers. Okay. Okay, so according to the election of officers pursuant to section 90-1-131 MCA, a presiding chairperson shall be elected annually by the commission from among the members during the first meeting of the fiscal year. A vice chairperson shall be elected annually by the commission during the first meeting of the fiscal year. The presiding chairperson shall preside at all commission meetings and hearings, call special meetings, and perform the duties normally conferred by the parliamentary usage on such presiding chairperson and other such duties as may be properly described. In the absence of a presiding chairperson, the vice chairperson shall perform the duties of the presiding chairperson. And we go to voting rules. Quorum and procedure. Let's see here. Quorum, 6 members. The affirmative vote of the majority of the members present is sufficient for any action taken by the commission. The presiding officer may make and second motions and participate in all votes. The rules contained in the most current edition of Robert's Rules of Order shall be generally adhered to in the conduction of all meetings unless other procedures or state law provides otherwise. All members who do not declare a conflict of interest shall vote. Votes may be registered as A or nay or pass. After initial count of votes, the presiding officer may provide members wishing to change their votes the opportunity to do so. In the event of a tie vote, the item shall not pass. So I believe that someone would need to make a nomination for we can do what office you want to start with. We could do chairman or vice chairman to begin with. What would you like to start with? We'll start with vice chair. And
I'll make the nomination.
okay,
I'd like to make a nomination for vice chair, Richard Sangre.
okay, someone willing to second that vote? Okay.
Second by CSKT. Discussion.
Yes, there's a proposal to accept a nomination of Richard Sangre as the vice chair of the STED Commission.
Accepts the
Ri-
nomination.
Richard accepts. Is there any discussion, Cheryl? Do you have anything to contribute to the idea?
Oh, no, I support the nomination.
Okay, would you like to move forward to voting?
Yeah, let's go ahead and all vote since for the
Okay.
discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, hearing none, Richard, you're still the vice chair.
All right, and there we are, so ordered. Okay, do we have a nomination on the election of the chairman for the STED Commission for the next fiscal year?
Chairman, I'd like to nominate Gerald Ray for the position.
Do we have a second on that nomination?
This is Cheryl. I'll second it.
Can Cheryl second that? Okay, Cheryl Rivas has seconded the motion. Any discussion?
Chairman Gray, do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
And again, any further discussion? All right, I guess all those in favor of electing Chairman Gray as the 2023 Chairman of the State Commission, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. No opposed, motion carries. Congratulations, Chairman Gray. Thank you for taking that on again. Yes, yes. I bet you wish all the elections were that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
All right, so moving on in the agenda then, for strategic planning process. So you wanna talk about that?
Yeah, so, in your, okay, so in the packet of stuff that was emailed to everybody, agenda, and it had a copy of the strategic plan that was crafted a year ago in November. I believe that you all that were on that over a year's process, and it was also hosted by a company called Mission Met that I believe kind of summarized all the materials. Well, with the loss of Billy Ledoux as the STED employee at Commerce overseeing it, the Mission Met subscription that hosts this strategic plan is on the verge of expiration or requires a renewal. And so the first question that I have before getting into the nitty-gritty of the plan is if the commission wishes to renew that contract and have it continue to be hosted by Mission Met at a rate of, I believe, around $600 a year. Is that correct, Lee? You remember this email? I think it's $600 a year.
6 to 9 to that.
6 to 900. Okay, so somewhere in there to have this document stored on their server, essentially. Unless you have an idea of what else, what other value they provided or could continue to provide to the commission.
Good question.
Good question, right?
What do you think, Richard?
Probably have to take a look at our strategic plan and what we've accomplished. Anything. Take a look at our strategic plan and see what we've accomplished according to the plan and probably replace those items that we have accomplished with new ones. So,
That's the line item question. So is this just software usage of the professional fees, or do they actually train and facilitate the strategic planning, or what do they do with the $600?
Yeah, thank you. Just to, for the record, it was $695 per year. $695 is the cost. And Ryan, I don't know what his last name, but he does come out on site from California, Mission Met, kind of leads these meetings and gets the plan going and implemented for our next steps and stuff like that. So on-site physical person, maybe you could zoom to if he needs to, but that's part of the agreement, I believe, and that's what we're doing last year for the commission.
So upon reviewing what this document says, and it shows some targets, 50% completed, 25% completed, who's going to be doing what. I believe that also the assignment of those committees that we had listed on the agenda, those 4 committees, I think that those are also
a part of these goals, and some of the original participants and drafters of these goals have been replaced with new STED members and leadership. Let's see here. So I think essentially what I'm asking is if someone is willing to suggest a motion to renew the membership of Mission Med and to exercise the full services this organization offers if people want to continue, if the commission determines that this is of value, we will renew the subscription. And does anyone of the commission want to consider making a motion to make that, codify that decision?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. So Vice Chair Singh makes the motion to renew the subscription for Mission Met. Does anyone want to second that motion? Okay, Delina seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Cheryl, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought there was a question, what is the value of it? I guess I didn't hear the answer. Other than it being a scheduler or a software?
We'll let Luke do his best to express what the representative who helped put this together from Mission Med talked about the value of their services.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl, for that question. And I know that the man's name was Eric Ryan. He was a consultant from Mission Met that helped specifically.
Make sure she can hear you. Sorry, we had an unstable connection for a second.
I'll pause here, Cheryl, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, however, I was not involved directly, but I know from Billy, she was the point of contact for Eric Ryan. And they worked a lot on the plan, the annual plan, as well as the breakout committees, where we had to join those committees and be assigned for ongoing meetings and discussions via Zoom with the consultant Eric Ryan, as well as just the STED commission meetings where he physically came. We met him and saw him over at the Delta Hotel and everything. So I think those breakouts and the specific breakout planning sessions that we had were effective, and a lot of synergy and a lot of momentum was being gained from his help. And then, a lot of changes happened with former chairwoman buying, changing hands, and Sean, resigning or turned out, and Billy and Maria leaving. So we just didn't want to lose that, and that's why we're considering keeping this momentum and this this buildup going. So that's what I can add to this.
Okay, so is there supposed to be a person that would be delegated to have the data input from the strategic plans or the teams that are meeting? Who will be putting the information into this Mission Met?
Yeah, I believe it's going to a combination. Part of the service is the information is gathered by this Mission Met company, and they synthesize the goals and the information. They work cooperatively with whoever is the new STED manager at Commerce, the Billy position that's still open.
Okay, that answers my question. I just didn't know who would be the point of contact, to input the information, because I didn't know if you guys were sending the recordings to this person that's managing Mission Met, and they just, extracted the information to update the strategic plan, or if there was a person that they'd actually could talk to, like a Billy, that, pulls all this information together and gets it on this software. But you did answer the question, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and Cheryl, you're right. Thank you for the logistical questions. They're very important to understand who's responsible for what and what we can expect for the investment of this money for another year. And some of these things are very new to those of us that are just pitch hitting for this open position. Chairman has a comment.
No, Leanne wants to say.
Oh, Leanne has a comment.
What was the last point she asked?
Yeah, actually, I don't see Leanne on here.
Just
Is she on here? Oh, there she is.
question.
No, I see that. Oh,
Oh.
wait, I'm trying to see where she's at
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Let's see. We have her still? Let's see.
Well,
Yeah,
she-
she's still
raised
here.
her hand.
Yep, okay, good. So whenever you're ready, Leanne, if you're able to join us.
She says it's not letting her speak.
Okay. There we go. There we go.
we go. No, those were all from quite a while ago. I just, so I'll bring it up later. This was way back on the TAC meeting. So anyway, but now if something else comes up, I can say something. So thanks.
You poor thing. Thank you for being so patient. She's Louise. And again, if we need to circle back to TAC at the end, let's do that. So in terms of the mission met question, Leanne, and the strategic planning, would Commerce, do you believe Commerce is going to be supportive if a motion gets passed to renew the membership, that we'll be able to do that?
You know, I think certainly if there's money in the budget, I mean, I guess I was under the impression that they had compiled all of the data from each of the tribes to get the strategic plan done. Isn't that correct?
Well, essentially, it's a summary of goals.
Right.
But I believe that Mission Met would say that they would still need to be involved because none of the targets have been reached. Some of them are at 10%, some are 25%, some are 50%. And so they would say that I would imagine that they would say their continued involvement would help get those closer to completion.
Oh, so they do the actual work? I thought each of the tribes did the actual work towards each of their goals.
Hi, this is Cheryl.
No, I
I'll
don't
just
think
explain
it works.
what I recall from working on this with, when I was in a group with Sean and Maria, Billy and Maria would call us, and then we would talk about our area, and then it would be Billy that would type in the information on this software to update it or, change it. That's how it worked out for us when we were brought together to work with Maria and Billy. So they reached out to us, both Sean and I, to get feedback, and then our job was to reach out to our tribes. That's how it worked for us.
We'll see if she comments further. You might have an additional illuminating.
Leanne, did you have anything?
Nope,
All right, so I guess we have a motion on that. I mean, further discussion, I think maybe it might be beneficial for, if we're gonna approve this, mission net for, another year. At least have Eric come back and, give us all an update where he's at in the process, and then maybe if we can get a new person hired by October, Billy's position, that person can get onboarded with, the software. So any other discussion, comments from anybody? Hearing none, all in favor for mission met for another year, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Cheryl's not right, okay.
none opposed, all, the motion passes.
All right.
But yeah, I'd like to see Eric come back and kind of get us all up to speed again on where he's at, and then, maybe moving forward with it. That'd be helpful.
Some, and then Chairman, would you be willing to just revisit what Leanne was unable to express about her question with the TAC? Are we okay to go back for a moment
Oh,
for that?
that's, Rochelle, that's fine. I can go back and listen. I just had missed the last point, so that's okay.
Okay, okay. Well, where are we at? Did we get through our items? Okay, thank you.
So with that, I mean, if there's nothing else, any further items needed by anybody you want to discuss? I guess we're gonna adjourn. Motion to adjourn. It's all in favor. Aye. We're good.
Aye.
Are you? Thank you, Cheryl.
Cheryl, thanks, Leanne.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.